Someone once told me the grass is much greener.
We have a lot of cool stuff planned for season 3.
Being proud of who you are no matter what you do.
You definitely see the characters progress a lot more. They start growing up.
And I think Ginger and Darren are endgame.
It is a masterpiece of an episode.
Oh, it's the cattiest moment in the history of television.
Trust me, everybody has been excited for our thoughts on it. Who's the girl in the pink capri?
It's Courtney! It's Courtney!
Someone once told me the grass is much greener on the other side.
Hello everyone, welcome to We're In Between, the podcast that discusses about every single episode of As Told by Ginger once a week. Last week we did our Season 2 recap, discussing about our favorite episodes, looking back on Season 2 as a whole, compared to Season 1, and our predictions for this particular season. So we did it, everybody. We have completed 2/3 of the series, and we're going to be kicking things off with our second TV movie called Far From Home, or Foutleys on Ice. It debuted on August 9th, 2003, and it was written by Emily Kapnick. In this episode, Miranda and Mipsy pay off the board members of Avalanche Arts Academy to accept Ginger for a semester term, and later decide to have Ginger away for good. With Ginger out of the picture, Miranda and Mipsy figure that they could get more attention from Courtney. When Ginger arrives at the school, Mipsy's cousin Mitzi, for referring to herself as Thea, has the job to make Ginger feel welcome and convince her to stay full-time. Meanwhile, Darren starts developing feelings for Ginger. Also, Courtney decides that she needs to spend as much time with Dodie and Macy to try to soak up every last bit of Ginger, but her plans change when she discovers Miranda and Mipsy's scandal. In the meantime, Carl becomes jealous when he thinks Hoodsey and Noel like each other, while they enter Noelle in a freak show competition because of her telekinetic powers. And this is one of 2 of the movies that were featured on DVD. One we'll be discussing about at the end of the podcast, but as of right now, As Told by Ginger has never been released on DVD. This movie has been, alongside with a handful of episodes. Let's see how it compares to Summer of Camp Caprice, and hopefully it'll be better!
I'll just say right off the bat that for me it was significantly better. And I didn't hate Camp Caprice either.
Yeah, I'm the only one. But then, anyway, the episode begins at Avalanche Arts Academy, where a group of teachers are discussing about how 25 students have entered in to see if they can be able to, have a chance to be attending a semester over at the academy. And the first person that they look at is Ginger. So the one thing I want to point out for anybody who's interested, this is actually a continuation from And She Was Gone. The competition that Ginger actually participated in, one of them was actually entering into Avalanche Arts Academy, and she submitted her poem for a chance to see if she can be able to attend a semester here. So it actually continues from And She Was Gone. I guess we could assume that And She Was Gone could have been the season 2 finale. And according to various websites like the As Told by Ginger wiki, and even to some extent like the watchcartoons.eu webpage, where we were seeing the episodes because we would love to buy them on DVD or iTunes, but they're not available. They actually cited And She Was Gone as the season 2 finale, and I guess it could have been, had it not been for the fact that Mrs. Gordon was still alive when that episode came out, and it would have been a little weird to have that with no hope for Courtney.
Yeah, that's true. I love pulling quotes, you guys know that. The first quote that made me just go yes, thank you, was Darren sort of shaming Ginger's friends for being, is petty the right word? Yeah, they're being pretty petty at the beginning of this episode. They're acting like, Ginger is selfish for wanting to leave them. And Darren says, this is a big opportunity for Ginger, and both of you should be behaving accordingly. And it's just yes, thank you, Darren, spitting these harsh truths. He's the only one being a good friend to her at the beginning.
Oh yeah, because Dodie and Macy, they're so petty to Ginger, saying, wait, you entered this competition? You're gonna go into this school? But we're your friends, we've never been separated. It's come on. I mean, even Darren says it to Ginger that, her talents stretch beyond sheltered shrubs, and it's true.
Yep, of course. And another line that really devastated me. Ginger says, the strangest thing is when you finally get what you wished for, and then suddenly you're not sure if you want it anymore. and then you don't know what to wish for. It's just like, oh man, Ginger, you are just hitting me with these truth bombs lately.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. But the worst, the person who's, like, supporting her the least is Dodie. She's incredibly jealous, and she's so petty to Ginger, saying, like, oh, you don't deserve to be in this school, Ginger. It's not like you found the cure for the common cold. Like, let her have a chance, Dodie, please, come on.
Yeah, pretty awful. And luckily they do snap into it once Darren kind of yells at them.
No, I understand that this was like 2003, so there was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, cell phones were kind of limited back then, but she's only gone for like a semester. It's only a few months. It's not like she's going to be gone for the whole year or maybe forever.
Yeah, no, I get that, yeah, like a semester feels like forever, but it really isn't, and I don't know. I'm curious what you thought about Miranda and Mipsy as the main villains of this movie, because I thought it was awesome.
It's amazing. I felt like, in my opinion, it was building up to this, especially with Mipsy, because we've seen Mipsy a handful of times in season 2, and she even brought up the fact that, when she was making the phone call to somebody in Avalanche Arts Academy saying, like, I sent you my bat mitzvah money. That was from the birthday party in family therapy. And we were calling Mipsy Diet Courtney or Courtney Light. And, it's like, oh, she's so much like Courtney. And Miranda didn't really, like, pull off a lot of, like, dangerous schemes in season 2 compared to, like, in season 1 where in, Ginger the Juvie, in which she got Ginger arrested, or Cry Wolf, in which she was willing to let everybody know about Ginger's Frizzy Lizzy. So yeah, we hadn't seen Miranda pull off like a nasty scheme in a while. So this is like their top-notch villainous schemes.
Props to Emily Kaepernick for building this so naturally over 2 seasons. That's hard to do with a show like this.
Yeah, and we'll talk about next week about how their schemes go even worse. So it definitely does feel like with Miranda never really liked Ginger, and we've been seeing Ginger and Courtney a lot more closer. So throughout the series, like Mommy Nearest, in which Courtney was staying over at Lois at the Foutleys. And then, of course, there was And She Was Gone, in which Courtney wanted to gain attention from Ginger because she was acting really depressed, and she thought that, oh, this is the new way of getting attention. So, and also Trouble in Gal Pal Land, in which Miranda and Courtney had their argument, and, over Ginger. So I guess we can really see that Miranda feels really pressured in keeping the friendship with Courtney because, Ginger has been getting really close with her.
Yeah, it makes sense. All the jealousy builds to this, but okay, and I get that the Mipsons or whatever are really well connected, but I found this plot to be, I loved it, I thought it was really interesting, but it's certainly not realistic, which I don't really mind. It doesn't have to be realistic, but I did find it interesting just how deep this conspiracy goes about getting Ginger into this program and keeping her there.
Yeah. So, going over to Carl and Hoodsey's plot. So, Carl is rubbing himself with chicken fat because he wants to prove that it can protect him from the winter if he doesn't wear any clothes. And it turns out that it doesn't work. And so he wants to sign up for this crazy freak show competition for a prize. And then they decided that it wasn't going to work out. So then they find out that their friend Noelle Sussman from And She Was Gone has telekinetic powers.
I am so happy we got Noelle again. She is truly becoming one of my favorite characters on this show. Her accent, whatever it is, cracks me up. It's like kind of Central European, like German-ish, like I don't know, just like her manner of speaking is so bizarre and like not from one place and really great.
Yeah, and her mannerisms is just so funny, too. Like, when she's speaking to Carl over the phone, and, when they're watching the really cheesy horror movie, and when they're talking about the competition. So, yeah, Noelle is one of my favorite characters in this series. She's so great. And in season 3, she becomes a lot more prominent. And, we'll see the ups and downs between, Noel and Carl. So, with Carl's case, he's pretty much taking advantage of the fact that Noel has telekinetic powers, and she's pretty much treating Noel like a prize, like a possible prize for this competition, as opposed to like a human being, and it really gets Noel really irritated, and, he does like a whole bunch of things to her. She's not really buying it, and we even when they're standing in line for the competition to see if they can be able to join in the finals, we even see Blake there, and he claims to have a birthmark on his butt the shape of Mother Teresa. Which here's the thing, in Figure It Out, there was a kid who had his mole. He had like moles in his back, the shape of the Big Dipper, which I found to be incredibly weak. Because it's like, if you're born with it, I mean, that's like, it's not really a talent, as opposed to like somebody who trains really hard to do something, as opposed to like something that you're born with, which I called that out when that kid entered in Figure It Out, which, you have these kids who play the piano upside down and, who can do cool flips and tricks and stuff like that. But then if you're born with something, it's like, oh, it's an automatic in. So I found that to be like a cop-out, but it's still pretty funny that he has a particular mole on his butt, the shape of of Mother Teresa.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
And then, of course, there's poor Brandon, poor Brandon, trying to think that he's weird by doing, like, some kind of creepy, like, ooga booga dance or whatever, and it's sad.
Yeah, it's really upsetting. And then when Brandon ultimately doesn't get in, it actually was pretty sad. I don't know, it bummed me out. Oh, one quick quotable line from Hoodsey. And Carl, they're talking about who should be the chaperone, because they have to bring a chaperone, and they do get into this competition, and Carl is like, well, I'll be the guest, and I guess Hoodsey will have to be the chaperone, and Hoodsey goes, well, I get carded when I try and do PG-13s, and Carl says, the boy skews young, like saying, what are you gonna do? So funny.
Hoodsey is chosen by Noel to be the chaperone because if they're under 18, they need to have an adult with them. So, in order for Hoodsey to act more like an adult or sound like more of an adult, Noel kisses him. Like, first base kisses him. And then he has like this sultry voice like, hello, children. And Carl has just like this amazing look on his face. Like, what?
Yeah, it's one of those unfortunate... What I will say about this TV movie is that a lot of the plot points, it has that sort of Friends type thing where all of the problems could be resolved if they talked them out for like 2 minutes. But they, Carl's like, I don't want to hear it, There's so many moments like that where it's like, no, just sit down and explain to each other. Explain why Ginger wasn't getting letters from her friends. Just talk it out. It'll make sense.
And so Carl becomes incredibly jealous that Noel is spending a lot more time with Hoodsey because, Hoodsey is actually treating Noel like a person, They're actually, Carl is not seeing Hoodsey is not seeing Noel as an easy ticket to win the competition. So Noel is spending a lot more time with Hoodsey trying to make him act like the chaperone, while Carl is pretty much the third wheel.
Yeah, that's true, and the dynamic between the three of them is so interesting in this movie. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Really true. So, then the news breaks out that Ginger was accepted into Avalanche Arts Academy, and Miranda and Mipsy decide to throw her a goodbye party. And, Ginger is like, she's really hesitant because she doesn't want to say goodbye to her friends right away. But Darren kind of convinces her to go because she has a lot of potential with her writing. She deserves, greater things. And so she decides to go. She goes over to the party. Everybody is celebrating. And I love the gift that Courtney gives to Ginger.
Yeah, it's classic Courtney. She gets it. It's like, it's not a blow-up doll, right?
Oh my god!
No. It's just like a regular old doll, right?
No. No,
Should I not have taken it there?
No,
But
I
would
mean,
Courtney not, though?
no, I think that I know that there's rumors of Courtney and Ginger being a thing, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. No, but seriously, it is an inflatable Courtney doll to have as a companion. And, Ginger doesn't accept it, and then she's like, okay, I'll take it. Come on, Courtney, your blouse is a bit of a mess. And, of course, she, goes crazy over it, because she's Courtney, why not?
They're always fashion policing each other.
Yeah. So Darren, Dodie, and Macy are getting punched, and then Darren kind of offhandedly saying that he loves Ginger, and Dodie and Macy take it like, oh, Darren, you really love her. And then Darren's like, no, I don't. And then when he goes outside, he thinks about it. It's like, what did you really mean when you said that? And then he starts thinking about, do I love Ginger?
Yeah, this love angle I totally bought into. It uses a lot of cliches in really smart ways, with the train station, with the kiss scene, all of that. It was just really lovely. And I'm jumping around a bit, but I have one more Ginger quote. She's saying goodbye to her friends to go off to this school, and she's writing in her diary and says, it's as if in that moment you suddenly appreciate everything about the person you're saying goodbye to all at once. What a lovely thought.
Yes, absolutely. Because we've talked about this over the past couple of months about how when you're in middle school and you transfer over to high school, or when you're in high school you transfer over to college, or whatever, you don't see the same people anymore, or most likely you'll, meet up with new people, and you'll never see the people that you went to school with. And you kind of think of it in a different light about how, for Ginger's case, in which she's known Dodie and Macy for pretty much all her life, and that she's taken this next big step to going over to an academy where she'll be with completely new people. It's like a big step for her, and then she appreciates what she's leaving behind, which I think is really strong. I think it's very relatable.
I think so too, and it's done really well. I really enjoyed this whole TV movie a lot. I'm not sure what the fan base consensus is, but I thought it was magical.
Definitely a lot better than Camp Caprice. But
I'll agree with that.
But no, seriously, they do really enjoy this TV movie, and well, don't worry. We'll be discussing about the other TV movies, which I think, in my opinion, are even better. So, yeah, this is definitely a step up to Camp Caprice. It definitely feels like it was building up to this. Like, everything that we saw throughout the first 2 seasons, it builds up into this one big TV movie, and it just pulls it off really, really well.
Absolutely. Oh, and can we talk about Darren's family, too? It was cool to get to see into their lives.
Yeah, because we don't see them very often. I mean, we do know that, Darren's father was an athlete when he was in high school, and he wants his son to be just like him, because Will is an athlete, and he was an athlete, so he wants Darren to be the same thing. He wants to follow in that Patterson tradition. And Darren is the sensitive, quiet type who is very romantic and a little bit of a geek, and his father and his brother are the athletic types. We talked about this in Camp Caprice and a few other episodes about them, but now we really get to see a little bit more on Darren's family and how Darren confesses that he loves Ginger, and then Darren's parents say, you better tell Ginger, because if you don't, you'll feel like you lose your opportunity, which I think is the anti-advice that Helga has from Hey Arnold, in which she feels like she's not ready to tell them, and she wants to wait until she's ready. So yeah, I think this is actually this is like the complete opposite, in which Darren feels like he has to has to tell Ginger, otherwise he'll lose an opportunity forever, which I think is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's a great. I hadn't even thought of connecting it to that quote, because sometimes there are crushes that you shouldn't have and you shouldn't tell them, and then there are crushes where you gotta fess up and see what happens. So it's some great continuity there, in a way, tracing through the show.
Yeah, I mean, we built it up in the first 2 seasons. We had Dare I Darren from season 1, and we had Never Can Say Goodbye from season 2, in which we had Dare I Darren, in which Ginger starts developing the crush ever since she had the dream, and then season 2, in which Darren gets his headgear removed, and then that's when Miranda starts having a crush on Darren, and Ginger starts feeling a little bit left out. So I once again, I felt like this was building up to it.
Yeah, for sure. It totally makes sense. I think they're really cute. And yeah, just the whole train scene was one of the cutest moments in the show. When he runs up to the conductor, you know, and he's saying, "What do I do?" He's running alongside the train. "There's this girl I like and I have to tell her." And he's like, "Hop on!" What? And then the continuity where after he kisses Ginger, he gets back on the train and the conductor is saying, "Is that the girl?"
Yeah. And also we get another appearance from Dwayne in this episode.
Yes, I know, I was so excited. You know how much I love Dwayne.
Yeah, so we have Dwayne, and he's telling him about the same situation, and he kind of like offhandedly gives him that advice, of telling her, and and of course, you always gotta love Dwayne.
Oh, of course. He's like so obviously a stoner in a kid's show too, which is just really funny to me.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, and then let's see. Then we go over to Ginger. So we see Ginger's experience at Avalanche Arts Academy. She has a roommate named Thea, who in reality is actually Mitzi, who is Mipsy's cousin. And she tries to make her feel incredibly welcome, trying to say, like, Avalanche Arts Academy is a great school. You'll fit right in. You're a great writer. And Ginger, the more she stays at the school, she meets up with a whole bunch of friends. The more that she feels really comfortable. And she even dyes her hair, too. She dyes her hair pink with a blue streak on it, which I thought was actually really cool. I mean, with the exception of Courtney for And She Was Gone, we actually see, another character dye their hair, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool, and I love that look, actually. I know she might have done it for the wrong reasons, but I actually think it's a great look for her.
Yeah, I do think so, too. Kind of like, like the pink, the pink hair with the blue streak on it. I thought it was a really nice look. And then when Ginger and her friends are at the fire, at the campfire outside, Darren goes over to Ginger and confesses that, he wants her to come back, and Ginger's like, "No, I'm not gonna come back. I feel like I belong here." And then he even goes up to her and says, like, "I guess your hair's not the only thing that's changed." It's like, wow, that's some real stuff, man.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy.
All right. So yeah, let's go back to Carl and Hoodsey's plot. So, Hoodsey has really gotten the chaperone, the chaperone part done really well. Noelle and Carl, they're not speaking to one another, and they unfortunately missed the bus, and they try to stop it, so they decided they have to walk all the way over there, and I feel like their friendship is put on the line when they're like stranded in the middle of nowhere to try to get to the competition. With Carl, all he's thinking about is that competition, and Noelle says that she loves Carl and that she cares for him, and Carl is like opening his eyes to thinking that this competition doesn't really matter. It matters about friendship, and that somebody who's weird and quirky really likes him. It's like that's just great because again, going into And She Was Gone, and the fact that Noelle was built up to be a background character throughout this time, we do get to really see the layers open up, and it feels like everything that the episodes were building up to is like coming into fruition with both of the plots. Actually, both of the plots feel like they're really coming into the full to their full bloom.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought it's another one of those moments where it's like both plots are equally good, which is pretty hard to pull off.
Yeah, because, throughout the series, we're either leaning towards one or the other, but no, both of the plots here are consistently good, and they've been consistently building up to this point in time. So, I guess we can go over to when Ginger and Darren see each other for the second time, and that's when Darren confesses his love for Ginger, and they have that kiss with one another, which I thought that was a really strong moment. Again, building up to it, and you just really feel for them. This is the crush that I feel was definitely earned for both Ginger and Darren.
Yep, and I think Explodey would be pretty jealous that Darren got that kiss.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Poopy did get the kiss, but it ended up with the world being exploded.
Right. Oh, sorry, I mean Poopy. How could I get them mixed up?
But yeah, Poopy did get the kiss from Explodey.
Yeah.
It just caused... the only problem was that it caused the world to explode, so...
You know,
well,
who cares?
whatever. Yeah, whatever.
That's funny. No, it's a really nice moment, and Ginger does her classic blush. And they just make sense. It just seems like it would be easy for them, which is how relationships are supposed to be, which is really great. And can we talk about the older Mipson and the fact that Mipsy is a nickname for the last name, which I just never pieced together? It is revealed that Ginger's roommate is actually Mipsy's sister and cousin. That's right. Okay. Regardless, I had always thought Mipsy was some nickname based on the first name. Maybe I missed a key line or something, but...
In the episode Sleep On It, her real name is Melissa Mipson, but her friends call her Mipsy.
I missed that, I guess. But it was cool that, they had this sort of family thing going on, and even the cousin, Mipsy, says, like, oh, sorry, Ginger's like, so our whole friendship was a lie? And she goes, well, it's kind of harsh when you put it that way. She goes, but hey, I kind of took a liking to you by the end. And I thought that was kind of a nice moment, that she was like, I just wanted to get paid.
Yeah, I mean, Mitzi could have been a really cool character if, she wasn't carrying out that lie and the fact that she wasn't paid by Mipsy, but, yeah, I mean, for what Thea or Mitzi was, I thought that she was pretty cool, and we do get another nice introduction to another family member that's not either Ginger, Dodie, or Macy, so that's actually pretty cool.
For sure.
All right, so I guess the episode ends with Ginger deciding to come back to, Ginger decides that she is going to actually stay for just that one semester at Avalanche Arts Academy. She's not going to go stay full-time, and everybody's just really happy about it, and, there's a lot of build-up to a lot of relationships with Ginger and Darren, Carl and Noel, so, yeah, I think it ends in a really nice note. So let's give our ranking of yay, nay, or meh. So why don't you start us off, Casey?
This one's an easy yay from me. I think it does a lot, and it's an interesting concept. It gets us away from their usual school for a while. I always love when we get to see a new setting, like in Lunatic Lake, or even Camp Caprice. It's nice to just get a break from the ordinary, because it's exciting for the characters, it's exciting for us. I loved both plots. Carl calling Noelle his girlfriend is just one of my favorite moments in the show. It's really cute. And then, of course, ends with, Hoodsey's getting checked out by some kids. And he walks over and, nice and suave, he goes, hello, children. So ridiculous. But... yeah, it's a yay from me.
Yeah, as for me, I do give it a yay as well. Finally, the first yay in weeks. I know, oh my god. This TV movie is great. Definitely a huge improvement over Summer of Camp Caprice. I know I'm repeating a whole bunch of stuff that I've said over the past couple of minutes, but it does really feel like it's a continuation of what the series has been built up, and just basically culminating together as one. The relationship with Ginger and Darren, the relationship with Carl and Noel. We get to see the characters grow. We get to see a different setting. We get to see different perspectives. It's just an overall good TV movie. So, yeah, definitely a nice way to kickstart season 3. Unfortunately, next week is going to be an episode that many people have been warning us about.
Oh.
Yeah, this is one of those episodes that they claim is the worst episode of As Told by Ginger. So tune in next week as we're going to be discussing about episode 44, Wicked Game. Hope to see you around soon, and thank you for listening.